Hello, everybody. My name is John Merrill Kirkman. I'm a seminary teacher. I'm the host of Walking with the Savior podcast, and I also have a YouTube channel called LDS Seminary Teacher Helper, where I share ideas on teaching seminary. I wanted to share this idea that you could use in Elders Quorum or Relief Society or even Sunday school or youth quorums. This activity works great. I've used it for years now with my seminary classes, and I've adapted it and used it in Elders Quorum, and it was an absolute success. So let me introduce this to you. First of all, this is what's called the conference tweet page. This is compiled tweets that I compiled during General Conference. So on Twitter, if you search up General Conference, it's at LDS Conf is the handle. And during conference, they tweet out quotes from General Conference. They tweet out the quotes roughly, a minute or two after the speaker says them, and they're direct quotes. And so I sit there and I copy and paste all these and compile these into a 2-page summary. This right here is Saturday, April 6, 2024. But in the show notes, you will have October 2024's show conference tweet page, as I address it, as I call it. Now, this will be in the show notes for free, easy download, along with this PowerPoint. And this PowerPoint, you could use it, or you could just decide to get the structure and run it from memory. You don't really need the PowerPoint to do it, but let me just give you an outline of what it looks like. So I pass out the tweet page that I just explained, and I give everybody a copy and a pen or a pencil. Make sure everybody's got one page and something to mark with. Then I assign them a column to read. And so I assign everybody a column to read, and I say, I'm going to give you 5 minutes quiet music. I play some background music, some piano music, some Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square music, or just something soft and instrumental. And then I just have people read their column of quotes. So what I mean is, like, you read this column, next person. You read this column, next person. You read this column, next person. You read this column. And what I like to do is and when I did this in Elders Quorum, I arranged the chairs and I changed the direction a little bit. And I made it so we had 2 rows, 2 long rows, but and they're sitting next to each other. And so if you can imagine this, 2 long rows side by side, and you two talk to each other, you two talk to each other, you two talk to each other. I give them 5 minutes to read their column. And so they're reading their column. And then I say, okay, now turn to your neighbor. And I give them about 3 minutes. And I say, share with your neighbor something from your column. Okay. And so they're sharing, and I say, share back and forth and make sure you mark what your neighbor is sharing. If you like these quotes, mark them. Then what I do is after 3 minutes, I'll create a rotation. And so they're in these 2 rows, and I'll say maybe left row, you move back a seat. Left row, move back a seat. And so everybody moves back a chair. The person in the way back come all the way up to the front. And then I say, turn to your neighbor, meet your new neighbor, and say, how you doing today? Expect them to have a little conversation to get to know each other and to see how they're doing. I mean, that's just a plus of this activity. And then I say, okay, start sharing. And they start sharing quotes again. And this process repeats for 10 or 15 minutes. They're just rotating every 3-4 minutes. Rotate up, get a new partner, share things, mark things that you're liking. What are you learning? And discuss with each other. Super powerful. And then the next phase is, okay, so here's a slide that shows, and I do this for teenagers because teenagers aren't super great at sharing. A quote I really is number 10, what it is saying to me, and then you read it to them, and then you say what it means to you and talk about it. And adults are going to do a better job at it than teenagers usually. But then what I do is I get to some scenarios, and if you want, you could just take a picture of these scenarios and come prepared to ask the group. Some of these might be more aimed at teenagers, so don't use those ones. Maybe pick some or make your own scenarios that relate to adults. Like here's one: I struggle with self-doubt. I feel the need to be perfect even though I am not. I don't think I'm good enough for the celestial kingdom. That's good for all ages. So I'll throw out that scenario and I'll say, go find your team, find a quote and discuss it with your teammate. And so they're looking at their paper and they're finding a quote and they're going, oh, here's one. And you talk about maybe how that relates. And so then you could, if you want, you could pull this back and say, let's just have a few you share with the whole group. Or you could say, rotate to another neighbor and let me give you another scenario. Here's another little scenario. Well, that one's about dating, so probably don't need that for Elders Quorum, but you may if you're in your young single adult ward. That would be awesome in a young single adult ward. So this one, I have little confidence when it comes to dating. I'm so nervous I can't be myself. Sign scared to date, right? And I'm struggling to know if I should get my patriarchal blessing. That's more for teenagers. How can I be a better friend? That's more for teenagers. I'm facing some really hard challenges in my life. How can I stay strong through hard things? That's good for any ages. And so let's see, I'll just go through some of these so you have them. If you don't have PowerPoint, you can take a picture of them. I'm struggling to find happiness in my life. My life is kind of blah. What might help me? Boom. I've made some serious mistakes in my life. I have made choices that I'm not proud of, but now I regret. Is there any hope for a person like me? That is an awesome discussion. A quote I need to implement in my life today is, and then to finish up, there's this wrap up mini lessons. I'll pass out a little square piece of paper, say, write down a quote on a card. If you got 3x5 cards, pass those out or a little piece of paper and just say, what do you want to implement into your life today? Focus on getting 1% better rather than 100% change. Fold it, put it in your pocket, pull it out many times throughout the day for a mini review. So this is called a mini lessons, and you review it throughout the day. So this would be a wrap up at the end of class. You get this 3x5 card, said, hey, go write one of your favorite quotes down. And what do you want to implement in your life to get 1% better? I say 1% better because it's easier to make small changes and not get overwhelmed than to focus on big changes. So there's kind of the tweet page wrap up. This is a great thing to do the week after conference or at any time to refresh on what we had and to inspire people to go read the talks. And so the thing I like about this is it's great for people who didn't get a chance to listen to all sessions or don't remember what they even, because that's what happens to me, right? I can't remember what I listened to. I will listen to all the sessions. I'm like, my brain is overloaded. I don't remember. But with this paper, it helps them refresh, relearn, and rededicate. So go give it a shot. It works fantastic. You have to play with it a little bit to work out the rotation, but figure it out, think it out, and do it with the rotations because then they meet with different people. They get connected with different people in their quorums or relief society, and it's just awesome. Go give it a shot. Let us know in the comments what you think, how it went for you. This tweet page will be in the show notes as well as the PowerPoint if you want to try to use that. Have a great day, everybody.